These are the men and women of Beaver Valley, the bravest of the brave. They fought fearlessly for their country, their city, their community, and for the ideals we share as Americans. They served proudly in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Here now are their stories, their own experiences in their own words, the words of the heroes of Beaver Valley.
We sailed to Oran in Africa, and then we got on another transport shipped into Italy. But after that, shortly, I was transferred up to the 98th Bomb Group. I was supply sergeant there for a little bit, but one night I got the big idea. If you was an aerial gunner, all you had to do was fly 50 missions, and then you'd go home. And if I stayed on the ground, I wasn't going to go home until the war was over. So it sounded like a pretty good deal. I became an aerial gunner. The pilots, them officers would come out and tell you where you're going. And when Paul come out and said, we're going to Pulaski, and there wasn't a soul there, I was very happy. It's the biggest oil fields in Romania. And it was the heaviest guarded target that we had in the 15th Air Force. Well, we were fortunate to get through the anti-aircraft. I can tell you one thing, that sky was filled with smoke from the anti-aircraft exploding.
Times completely obscured the sky, blotting out all light, even at midday.
10-15 minutes after we cleared the target, we got jumped by fighters. We got up, shot up pretty good. Finally, the pilot rang the bell, and we fastened the chutes and bailed out. My chute opened, and I was going down, and I'll tell you truthfully, that was one of the prettiest sights I ever seen. You don't know you're going anywhere. You're just floating down through the space and looking around and enjoying the scenery. So while I'm untangling my harness and taking it from the chute, I look up the hill. It was two soldiers with rifles. And I thought, holy hell, I'm going to get captured or shot. One guy put a white rag or something on the end of his rifle and started waving it, and I said, oh, I'm going to be pretty good anyhow for a while. I got up there, and I couldn't talk to him or anything, but there was two Chetnik soldiers, and they motioned for me to follow them. And we got into town, and they took us into a house and fed us that night. And this was probably 9, 10 o'clock at night. We wanted to go to bed. They took us into the bedroom, but they stood down at the bottom of the bed and kept drinking and singing. We couldn't go to sleep because the suckers kept singing and drinking. And finally, I guess we either got drunk or got so tired we did fall asleep. But the next day we started out for the hills, and we started picking up the rest of the crew until we had virtually everybody. And when we started, we never stayed in one place or one house more than one day. And these farms and that were small 20, 30 acre farms. The Germans had a reward out for us. If these people were caught helping us and taking care of us, 90% of them would have been shot and their homes would have been burnt down. So I often thought about that. How in the heck do you repay people for doing something like that? You'd have to have a heck of a lot of guts. Later on, they dropped in some OSS. The OSS later became the CIA. Now, these two people parachuted in that night, and they were to coordinate getting us out and to verify who we were. Because the reason they didn't do it earlier, the OSS thought it might be a German trick to get them to come in and try a rescue. They had started building this airstrip on the top of a hill. And I can tell you, truthfully, it was just big enough for a C-47 to take off. And when they evacuated us, they loaded you up by how long you were there. Guys that were down for 200 some days first. We were the youngest crew down with 33 days. So we were the last aircraft to leave. There's not too many people knew about what they did for us. See, the one thing, when we come out, they instruct us, we weren't allowed to talk about it for fear of the Germans finding out information. So it was years before this Halyard mission became known.